Well, Cubs fans, it has finally happened. Breaking news. Rob Nightingale reporting that the Chicago Cubs have reached a tentative deal with Japanese pitcher Shota Imanaga. He will undergo a physical in Chicago on Thursday before the deal becomes official. And we have a new pitcher on the north side of Chicago. Finally, after 550,000 years of waiting this offseason, the Chicago Cubs have finally made a move. What is going on? This is your boy Jordan JC back on the ATS Report. And yes, we have another amazing pitcher. It's interesting because the Cubs usually are very, very proactive in going after some of the big fish in the trade market. We saw Shohei Ohtani on the market this year. We saw Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's another Japanese pitcher that is very, very good. And both of them went to Los Angeles. And I got to be honest, I thought that we would get either one or both of those guys. Or maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe I thought we would get Shohei. I know that we were in talks, in discussions, or at least in the middle of discussions, probably talking about what sort of money he would be demanding. And as we can see, he actually fleece the market. The man is putting all of putting all of his money into futures and only making $2 million a year. So hey, smart on him and also smart on the Dodgers. But we got our guy, and it's some interesting facts on Shota Imanaga, especially compared to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who got a huge deal. And comparably, it looks as if we got a steal as far as even the contract, because John Morosi is reporting that once the deal is finalized, once he passes his physical on Thursday, it mentions that it will be for multiple years with an average annual value in the $15 million range, $15 million range. That is a steal if we're talking about the same caliber of pitcher as Yoshinobu, because I'm looking at some of these things that he's doing, some of the stats he's putting up. However, I will say this. It's probably also because of his age. He's been over in the Japanese Nippon Professional Baseball League for a while now. Since 2016, he's played for the Nippon Baystars. And he is an older prospect. He's 30 years old. And so, he's not one of those up-and-coming young pitchers. This is someone who's been established for a minute. And Jed Hoyer went out. He was patient enough, and we were wondering, what are you doing, Jed? Obviously this team has a lot of question marks. Marcus Stroman left. I really loved Marcus Stroman. I wish that we could have retained him, but we got our guy. And we're also thinking about trying to retain Cody Bellinger. Some of the stats on Shota Imanaga, it shows how good he is, especially past year. Mentions that he stands at 5'10", 176 pounds, which is the same as Yoshinobu, and that he possesses, as a lefty, some of the best pure stuff in the world, which is really what is amazing to me, because I looked over some of the stats and his pitches. Mind-blowing stuff. And also, the final list of Stuff Plus leaders from the World Baseball Classic was actually amazing as well, because it shows that he was very, very good in a minimum of 28 pitches per appearance. He led the WBC in Stuff Plus over Yoshinobu, over Julio Urias, over Yu Darvish, who that the Cubs had. You know how good his stuff is. And then there's also Shohei Ohtani on this list as well. And so you have some very notable MLB and Japanese pitchers on this list from the WBC, and he's right there at the top. And so that's saying something. I think this is a really good get for Jed Hoyer. I think this is a good start. I hope that there are more options and more transactions along the way, but this is a very good start, even though it was late in the day, right? So here's some of the things that Imanaga does well. Mentions that he carries a high four-seamer with over 20 inches of induced vertical break. That's very impressive. The pitch cuts through the zone, staying on plane and causing swings and misses over the top of barrels. And I think just in that little bit of sentence, I appreciate that, because the Cubs usually have recently I'll say, have really had a lot of pitchers that don't have a lot of swing and miss stuff. There's a lot of strategic, kind of pinpoint pitchers, if you will. Kyle Hendricks comes to mind, the professor. He's not going to blow you away with just speed and just overpowering you with stuff that just changes direction all the time, even though he has a very good changeup. He had a very good changeup in his prime. But he's the professor for a reason, because he's just going to be methodical. He's going to try and hit you on the outside of the zones. He's going to know he's very accurate with his pitches, right? Those are the type of pitchers that we have. But when you bring in someone like an Imanaga, that's a very good change of pace that you can bring to this rotation. And speaking of rotation, if all of this stays the same, we're talking about a Cubs rotation at the end of 2024 that is Justin Steele. You also got Cade Horton, and then you have Imanaga, James Tyone. Now he might be the wild card because Tyone has some good stuff, but he's always been, hit and miss. He's never been consistent since he's been on this team, and so that could be the X factor as well to kind of complete out our very good starting lineup. And then of course at the back end you have Kyle Hendricks. Now, if Kyle Hendricks is your number 5 pitcher, that's very good because if Kyle Hendricks can kind of emulate what he's done in the past and kind of do exactly what he's always been doing and have a very good season, kind of reverse, turn back the clock in a sense, then that is saying something about this rotation. So we potentially have a very, very good rotation. Then, of course, you also have Drew Smiley, you got Wicks, you got Javier Assad. So it's a lot of good depth on this team. A lot of good depth at the pitching position, at the starting position, then of course the relief position pitchers as well. And so I think that this is the start of something that could be very special if Jed Hoyer continues to do things right. Now I think the next step going forward is making sure that we secure Cody Bellinger a contract. I think that that's someone that needs to stay in the building and stay on the team. Especially with the production that he kind of had a comeback type of season last year. And I believe that, the Cubs don't need to let him walk because he's going to be very good, I think, going forward. I think he's found himself again, especially, relating to or comparing to when he was the MVP of the league as well. So all good stuff. I expect that this is going to, again, like I said, be the start of something special. I think Jed Hoyer has a few more tricks up his sleeve. I think that maybe he goes out and maybe gets another starting pitcher of a high caliber, or maybe he addresses the relief pitching depth as well. I think you also need another hitter as well. But overall, I think this is a good start to rounding out the Cubs. I want to get you guys' opinion as always, you Cubs fans, and seeing what you think about this deal, especially the contract for what he is and what you can expect from him. Do a little deep dive yourself on just I've seen some highlights of him, and he's very impressive. Do a deep dive yourself on this pitcher, Imanaga. I think that you'll be impressed with what you see. And so very excited. They finally did it. They finally got a move done. And I'll be down there to talk with you Cubs fans about it. And until the next video, I want to make sure that you all show some class. Comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video with others, and I'll see you guys on the next ATS Report.